The real estate market in Minnesota requires knowledge of how many things work, especially those that may be guided by federal or state law. For example, landlords may want to know how rent control functions in the state before attempting to make any changes. Similarly, both a potential buyer and a seller should familiarize themselves with the elements of a real estate purchase agreement and what kind of written disclosures may be required to ensure that the contract is legally binding. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Santiago with DoorLoop. Now, before we get started, let me quickly remind you that I am not an attorney, so I cannot give you any legal advice or financial advice. And yes, I do work for DoorLoop. Okay? That being said, let's get right into it. Required disclosures. The first disclosure statement that's required for the sale agreement is the seller's property disclosure statement. Potential buyers may alter their decisions based on these details, and they must be given the information to do so. Sellers are expected to act in good faith, ensuring that the written statement covers all the bases it is expected to. Other disclosures will be required if the piece of the residential real estate falls under specific categories. For example, if the property happens to be a part of a common interest community, then a common interest community resale written disclosure is required to detail the rules of the community, membership mandates, etc. A lead-based paint disclosure is also required if the purchase agreement covers a property built before 1978 that may have lead paint content. Additionally, if there are any wells within the property lines, a location of wells disclosure must also be made. Final remarks. A real estate purchase agreement must be carefully constructed, ensuring that it covers all the bases to be seen as a legitimate contract. Some of the typical elements in one include names and contact details of the parties involved, conditions to be fulfilled before the buyer can obtain the property, how the property purchase will be financed, and any other contingencies that may apply to the purchase. It should also include closing date and signatures of all the parties. The great news is that you don't have to stress about creating your own purchase agreement all by yourself, because DoorLoop has already done it for you. You can actually find the link for this and other Minnesota forms right there in the description, okay? In the description of this video, all right? So you can scroll down and find that. Frequently asked questions. What if both parties don't close on the transaction by the closing date? This depends on the rules of the agreement. However, you'll typically find that a mutual agreement needs to be present in writing before the contract is considered canceled. Can a seller choose not to disclose the home's condition in a statement? No. Doing so would render the agreement invalid. Is there a way to get out of the contract for the seller? This would need to be done before both parties have signed the agreement. What's the best way to write up a sale agreement for residential real estate in Minnesota? The best way, and the easiest, is to use the prepared version that DoorLoop offers, which will cover all expected bases. Remember that the link is right there in the description for you, okay? All right, everybody, that is all for now. And remember, if you want to get access to a lot more videos on topics such as how to write a Minnesota lease termination letter or on commercial and residential lease agreements, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with your friends, with your team, with the office, with everyone that you know in real estate, okay? And as always, thanks for watching.